Hello, I'm Lovell Mathews, the product manager for the data management suite of products from Oracle, specifically for financial services. I would like to discuss some aspects of data governance specifically today, and specifically discuss how it is going to benefit the organizations, why organizations need to do it, and more importantly, how should they go about doing it in my point of view. Now, in a couple of the previous posts that I did, I discussed how data is a key asset to the organization now, and it is increasingly becoming vital to the organization. Almost all the organizations have a data management program underway. They are at various stages of maturity, but everybody has a data management program going on in their organization. Now, you could attribute this whole thing to the regulatory pressure that has been there since BCBS 239 has been announced. But the difference. But the difference this time is specifically the fact that BCBS 239 has been seen as a regulation which is quite different from the rest of the others. For a change, this particular regulation has been embraced much more wider, much more better by analysts, by consultants, and by the industry in general. And this is because BCBS 239 is a more proactive, forward-looking regulation which tells you how to do things right, as opposed to being a regulation which tells you how to react when things go wrong, and which is exactly the reason why people have been adopting, and they were really cheered and said kudos to the regulators for this regulation. And you would see the acceptance of this is becoming more and more wide. Recently, the US Fed has mandated that some of the regulatory reports that organizations need to submit needs to have a CFO or an equivalent attest to the fact that there is a governance program, there is a control environment around the whole report generation and submission process. So it is increasingly getting accepted and adopted widely all over. Now, looking at it from another aspect, it is not just the regulatory pressure which is driving the data management program, but it is also a lot self-inspired within the organizations, because organizations have now started to realize the benefits that this brings along, be it increased profits, be it better data-based decision making, be it enhanced customer satisfaction. It just brings along a whole bunch of benefits to the organizations, and hence organizations have started adopting this much more actively than just being a regulatory pressure on them. Now, coming to the second part of what I wanted to discuss, realizing the necessity of doing this and the benefits that it brings along. How do organizations do this? What are people doing about it? And in my mind, how should organizations get there? To me, there are three distinct things that is required for an effective data management program. It begins with the senior management adopting the whole program, realizing the importance of it, and sponsoring this whole initiative. The second, in my mind, is a huge cultural change that is required in every organization. The cultural change has to be at all the levels within the organization, where people sitting at various levels have to realize the benefits of doing so, and they have to adopt this in their daily work routine. And if you remember, I discussed this in one of the posts that I did recently around data governance. And the third and the most important thing is the technology, is the underlying technology which would be used to support this. the first point, which is the acceptance of the senior management, is pretty much underway. Like we said, we know all the programs, all the organizations are having a program underway. We also saw the EDM Council publish some results a while ago where they assessed the maturity of different organizations and in terms of where they are in this whole program. So that's pretty much underway. Now, the second point, which is a cultural change, it is a huge challenge because it really involves educating everybody in the organization and letting them know the benefits of it, the consequences of not doing it, and how to proactively engage in a data management program. Now, the way I look at it is the technology that you choose is something that should help assist the cultural change. It's not the other way around where the culture has to change in order to adopt the technology, but the technology should ease the process of a cultural change in the organization. Now, what should a technology for a data management program look like? To me, it cannot be regular tooling capabilities. There are a whole bunch of tools out there offering governance capabilities. They're offering data quality capabilities, offering data foundation and many other capabilities. But to me, they are, if you choose to adopt a regular tooling capability, that is just going to be a very difficult job to implement this. And more importantly, it's going to be very difficult to sustain such a technology for your data management initiative. In my mind, you need a solution. You need a solution which helps you get a head start into the program. You need a solution which helps you embrace the program easily. You need a solution which makes your work easier than making it more difficult. In my mind, you need the data management solution should contain a data foundation, a truly unified data foundation from all the disciplines of risk and compliance and insight and customer insight and finance and so on and so forth. It should have data integration capabilities, and more importantly, it should have a governance layer on top of it, which fully understands the data foundation underneath it. It fully understands the critical data elements which sit in the foundation layer underneath it. It needs to have a full understanding and full knowledge of what processes these key data, critical data elements participate in, and the complete life cycle of those critical data elements. The governance layer should also have an ability to monitor the quality, the timeliness, the variances of values, the trends of such critical data elements, and should be able to bring out issues or matters that require attention at relevant points of time. And it is very important to bring these matters that require attention well ahead in the data life cycle. It is very important that you be proactive about these issues and not bring them up later in the cycle where the resolution itself becomes a much more difficult task in hand. So to summarize, the data management solution needs to have an ability to be proactive. It needs to have an ability to systematically learn, gather statistics and learn from the underlying systems. It should be able to throw out meaningful insights rather than becoming a challenge to implement and adopt throughout the organization. Well, that's what I wanted to primarily discuss today. Thank you very much for listening to me today and taking out time from your schedule to listen to me. I would be very delighted to get comments from each one of you. I would really like to know what your organizations are doing in this space. What are the exciting things that you've been thinking about, and how do you intend to be successful around this whole program? Does some of the strategy and the initiatives that you are taking, does it reflect the discussion that we've had today? Thank you. Bye until next time.